And welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, that's Bryant, and we are ready to break down some baseball. Dave had stuff to do. Nick and Tim are helping a family member move, so they are quite busy at the moment. So we are going to, the two of us are going to break down some games today. We've got some good games. So the second last day before the All-Star break, but definitely some spots that I like today. And we'll just jump right into the first game here. Starts in about an hour. The White Sox are in Minnesota facing the Twins. In this one, you can find the White Sox anywhere from plus 105 to plus 118. Minnesota on the money line anywhere from minus 130 to minus 140. Mostly 8.5, or mostly nines and 8.5s kind of split here, depending on what side you like. If you like a total in this one. And I do like a total in this one. I took the full game over 8.5 at minus 115, and I took the Minnesota Twins first 5 team total over 2.5 at plus 105. Basically, the reason why Lance Lynn has not been good this year against Minnesota. Lance Lynn has not been good this year. He just faced them a couple starts ago and gave up 5 earned runs, I believe. I'm just pulling it up here. Dylan Bundy on the other side. Sometimes he can be trusted, sometimes he can't. But he's actually pitched very well in his 2 starts against Chicago this year. So that's something to keep in mind. In the last game, he faced them on the 4th. 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts in 5 innings in Chicago. On the other side, Lance Lynn. He played Minnesota on the 6th, and he gave up 6 hits, 5 earned runs in 5 innings, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And then his last game in Cleveland, he went 4 innings, giving up 9 hits and 8 earned runs, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. So Lynn has not been pitching very well this year. Minnesota, though, not really playing the best right now. They're kind of in a skid here. I think what Minnesota Twins need is to fire Rocco Baldelli. I know a lot of Twins fans agree with me on that. He's just – some of the decisions he makes are kind of weird, I guess is the word, or dumb. So he makes some bad decisions. But the Twins, obviously he hasn't been fired, so he will be coaching still. In this one, I think the Twins can get 3 runs. I think the game can still go over, especially once the bullpens come in here. I think the Twins kind of light up Lance Lynn, and I would kind of lean here with the Twins, but kind of with how they're playing right now, I just can't really back them. So I'll back runs here in this one. What do you think, Bryant? White Sox and Twins.
Yeah. I originally, when I opened this game, I was definitely all in on I leaned to the White Sox to win the game, and I definitely thought that the over was the play. I still think the over is definitely the play, just simply because of how these two guys have looked of late. But you actually shared something about Bundy being 1-0 against the Twins. You talked about that stat just a few moments ago. He's or not against the Twins, but against the White Sox. He's pitched pretty well against them. So partially, I think where I'm just gonna go safe at is if I think that the over is the play, and I also think that the White Sox may or the Twins may be the better team here with the better pitcher against a specific team. I've got to go with a Minnesota F5 team total, or I'm just going to go with a full game team total. And so for me, it kind of boiled down to that. Like I said, I would lean to maybe the Twins F5 money line at minus 130. That's what I'm seeing it at. But ultimately, I want to fade Lance Lynn, and because I think that he's going to do his part to contribute to the over, the full game total. And so I am going to hop on the Minnesota Twins F5 team total over 2.5 at plus 105. Plus money to fade Lance Lynn. He throws nothing but fastballs. And The Twins hit fastballs pretty well, and they also hit righties very well. So you combine those things together. Um, I think that's the best value play that you can get in this game. If, like I said, if you're inclined to take a side, I guess I'm going to lean with the Twins just based off how well Bundy's pitched against the White Sox this year. But ultimately, for me, I'm just looking for runs pretty much this entire game. This was an over spot yesterday night when I saw it, and I'm gonna stick to my guns. So
Yeah, the White Sox are still, they've been hitting lately. And even though Bundy has been pretty good, I think he'll give up a few runs today in this one. The next game just shows here Mets and the Cubs, game one. Don't actually have a pick in this game, but I kind of wanted to quickly discuss it here. Since there's just two of us, we have extra time today. But here in game one, obviously this was supposed to happen yesterday, but it got rained out. You can find Mets anywhere from minus 125 to minus 130, minus 135. You can find the Cubs anywhere from plus 105 to plus 116. 7.5s at every book in this one. Like I said, no official pick for me in this game, basically because of the pitchers here. Stroman used to play for the Mets, and in his last three games, two of the games he didn't give up an earned run. The other game he gave up 9 earned runs. So either he's going to get smashed here, or he's going to pitch well. The fact that he's facing a former team also kind of makes me iffy in this one. I guess for the Mets are obviously the better team, and to be able to get them at minus 125 is a pretty good price for them, full game. But I don't know. I could see Stroman coming out here and giving up 6 earned runs in a couple innings, or I could see him coming out here pitching 7, not giving up anything against his former team. So this could be a good live betting game. If the Mets do come out and kind of hit Stroman early, I may look at live betting their spread, depending on what it's looking at, because I do think if they are able to hit him, that he may get lit up in this one. So either he comes in and gets lit up, or he comes out and pitches a gem. I'm not quite sure. It's more of a live betting game in this one for me. Bryant, any opinion here in game one of Mets and Cubs?
um, I we talked about this before the show started, but I'm kind of in a weird spot here because Walker's, as well as he's pitched this year, and as well as the Mets have played on the road, for him to only be minus 135 is what I'm seeing it at for this first game. It's kind of weird to me. I'm going to take the bait, though. And I think you said it earlier when we were talking about it. Stroman obviously has the angle of revenge. He gets to play his former team, yada, yada, yada. I think that's getting baked into the price. But I'm not buying it. Stroman doesn't look as like he did when he was with the Mets last year. And I just think the Mets offense is just too much, especially for that Cubs bullpen on the back end of things. I think that they jump on him. He might keep it respectable, but I ultimately think that the Mets just pull away. I think they got boosted when Scherzer came back, and they're starting to roll. And with that, I really feel like due to the stark difference, I think in the pitching matchup, not because I think that Walker's head and shoulders above Stroman. I just think of how they're trending right now, right? Stroman's trending down, Walker's trending up. And I think obviously, well, not I think, but obviously the Mets have the better lineup. So for me, I'm going to go with the Mets on the run line here at plus 135. I like it. I'm going to take the opportunity to go there with it. And I'm going to take the Mets in this game one on the run line at plus 135.
All right. And Eddie and IceX both agree with you. And yeah, I may be jumping on this live because if they are able to hit him, then I'll probably look at it at a live spot. The next one here, this Mariners team, something special is going on here with Seattle. They are not in Boston, are they? They're in Texas. I'm sorry. Seattle is in Texas for this second game of the series here. Yesterday, A grand slam, obviously, to blow that game wide open. Gilbert, 10-3 on the year with a 2.80 ERA for Seattle. His last game against Toronto, 6 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, no walk, and a no decision. But he won his 2 previous against San Diego and Oakland. Now he's obviously in Texas facing the Rangers, and I think it's a good spot for him. On the road this year, in 10 games, he's 6-1 with a 2.47 ERA. So he actually kind of pitches better on the road, and he's on the road in Texas. I think it's a good spot for him. On the other side here, um, Howard 1-1 with an 8.04 ERA. However, in his last 2 of his last 3 games, he only gave up 1 earned run. Obviously, 1 inning against Atlanta was good in his last game. 5 innings against Oakland, 6 hits, 1 earned run. But previous to that in Baltimore, 6 hits, 4 earned runs. So also he's kind of better here at home. His numbers are better at home than on the road, but hasn't really pitched that much. And he's facing the Seattle team who is hot. So I like Seattle money line. Obviously, it's around. Sorry, I didn't bring up the odds here. Seattle money line, you have to find it around -150 to -154 to -163. So it's definitely a parlay piece for me. Totals mostly eights. But I like Seattle here. You could take them on the run line there at +110. But as I said in previous shows, for me, run lines aren't always good to me. So I'm very selective with them. I'd rather parlay Seattle with another team, which is what I did in a 2-teamer, which I'll get to. But I like Seattle to win this game today. Brian, what do you think here, Mariners and Rangers?
Yeah, this Mariners team is on a unfathomable win streak right now. Um, Shout out to them. They cashed my full game over last night. They hit and they also cashed the F5 as well, F5 run line for me. If you tune into the show yesterday, I pitched that. Um, yeah, I'm going back to the Mariners today. I love backing Logan Gilbert. Dude just goes out there and shoves. He's a really talented young pitcher. Um, as you mentioned, on the road, he's been pretty solid, all things considered, as well. The biggest thing and the one thing that I like about him is he doesn't walk guys. His walks per nine is at a 1.80, and that'll get it done. When you're not walking guys, you're able to just go out there and attack. He does have a little bit of a inflated FIP. I don't really think that's all too worrisome because the Sierra kind of levels itself out as well. So for me right now, it's really just keeping. I mean, you got to keep backing the Mariners. They're finding ways to win. They're winning games, blowing out. They're getting on you early. They'll come back from deficits. They're winning by pitching sometimes. I don't like Spencer Howard enough, and I've been profitable backing Logan Gilbert at home and on the road too much to fade him here in this particular win streak. So I'm going to go with I'm going to sprinkle something on the Mariners run line full game. But I'm just going to play it safe and put a little bit more units on the Mariners money line at -150. That's what I got it at, and I think that's probably as low as it's going to go. But I'm parlaying that, and that's going to be part of my best bet. But anyway, yeah, I'm backing the Mariners here on the full game run line and the money line.
All right. Some breaking news, but not hugely breaking. But an NHL trade just happened for people following NHL. New Jersey just got John Marino from Pittsburgh, one of their younger defensemen. And Pittsburgh picks up Ty Smith and a third-round pick. This is going to be a great trade for Pittsburgh, picking up Ty Smith, who is going to be a really good defenseman. So I think it's actually a great trade for Pittsburgh, but better for New Jersey potentially in the short term. with getting John Marino. So that's an interesting pick, or interesting trade made by Pittsburgh and New Jersey in the NHL. But I'm high on Ty Smith, so I think Pittsburgh um, will be the winners of that trade ultimately. But we will go on here. Yeah, Devil's getting better and better. I think so, but I think giving up Ty Smith is going to be ultimately a bad move for them ultimately. But potentially this year that may help them. Marino's more NHL ready. Moving on to this one, the Phillies are in Miami, facing the Marlins here. Ranger Suarez is projected, currently still not on MLB.com. So, and RotoWire, I believe, does not have the lineups confirmed for this game. I will quickly check. Let's see. Ranger Suarez is confirmed now. Facing Max Meyer in his MLB debut. This guy's going to be good. I have a lot of confidence in this guy. I can't really explain why. It's kind of just this feeling I'm getting. And then before the show, me and Brian were kind of looking into more of his stats here. And I find out that he's a Minnesota boy, born in Minnesota. So I can't explain why I had this good feelings about him. But finding out he's from Minnesota is kind of funny. That may explain why. But he's been really good. Third overall pick a couple drafts ago, making his MLB debut in the minors. 6-4 last year with a 2.27 ERA, 3-4 this year with a 3.69 ERA. But something that kind of stood out to me here: 199 strikeouts in 172 innings pitched. So he is more than a strikeout per inning guy, making his MLB debut. And you can get his strikeouts at 4.5. Over 4.5 is minus 108. I took that. I think he has a good MLB debut. The Phillies, I think they're not quite prepared for him enough. Obviously, it being his first start. And I think he comes out here, pitches well. But I can't back the Marlins against a lefty. I will not. I will not do that. Everybody has their little rules when it comes to betting. And for right now, at this point this year, I will not back Miami against a lefty. So I can't back them, but I wanted to back Max Meyer. So I found his strikeout props. I think that's a great bet here in his MLB debut. Bryant, Phillies and Marlins. What do you think here?
Yeah. I was very bullish about this game. I still kind of am. But ultimately, I like the matchup enough that I'm trying to find an angle to where where to put my money at. And for me, it just kind of came down to the fact that, like you said, you got a kid who's making his MLB debut. He's super talented. We were reading up on him. He had the consensus best pitch in the 2020 draft out of all the pitchers that were draft eligible for that specific draft. I completely respect anyone that passes on this game because it is a rookie, and Ranger Suarez isn't good enough for you to be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna hop on that. So ultimately, I don't know how well the kid's gonna look. I think he's gonna have a pretty bright future, or I suspect the Marlins think so if they're calling him up basically like 2 years removed from being drafted. But I saw some value in going to the Phillies full game team total over 3.5. I need 4 runs. And if we don't, as long as we expect the kid to have some natural jitters and get into just a little bit of trouble, that's 2 runs roughly about right there. And then this Marlins bullpen isn't all that great. We just need 2 more from them, and we can cash this. So I think that's where I'm going to take I'm going to sprinkle my money at is on the Phillies team total over 3.5. It basically eliminates pitching out of the way. Like Terry said, though, Suarez or the Marlins suck against lefties. Suarez is definitely not one of the best lefties in the game, but I think that there's value there. And if I was going to lean toward the side, I would lean with the Phillies just because of that. But ultimately, I'm just going to look to runs. You getting the Phillies offense at a pretty good price right there to score 4 runs. They've put up more runs than that against way better pitchers this year. Um, so against a rookie, I get it. He's talented, but again, this is the MLB. This is his first time against professional hitters, and the Phillies have some legitimately good hitters. So um, I'm gonna take a risk there and go with this Philadelphia team total over 3.5 at -120.
All right. Moving on along to this next one. Unfortunately, we a bunch of us had Baltimore as our dog of the day yesterday, and sadly, their winning streak came to an end. But they did put up. They did try at the end. They did try, but we're just a little bit short in the comeback. Now they are still in Tampa Bay. Kremer on the mound for Baltimore. Ryan Yarbrough on the mound for Tampa Bay. He's lost his last 3 starts against Toronto, the White Sox, and Texas, giving up 8 hits and 4 earned runs in 5 innings against Toronto. 8 hits and 6 earned runs in 1.2 innings against the White Sox, and that was at home in his last home game. So he lasted 1.2 innings and gave up 8 hits, 6 earned runs. The game before that in Texas, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. He's been getting hit lately. And this Baltimore team, yes, they lost yesterday, but they were super hot before then. I don't think they're all of a sudden going to be this cold team. Dean Kremer on the other side in his last game against LA, 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. A bad game before that against Texas, 8 hits, 5 earned runs in Texas. But Texas really does hit lefties really well right now, so that kind of explains that. The game before that against this hot Seattle team, kind of before they got hot there, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. So I'm kind of relying on Baltimore to score some runs here. I took their team total over 3.5 at -115. That's 3.5 full game. I think they score 4 runs in the first 5 against Yarborough. I think it's very possible after 5 innings they're already at 4 runs. So to get the full game team total over 3.5 at -115, I really like that. I potentially may look at adding 4.5. But I don't want to get crazy just in case Baltimore is going to kind of go back to their usual selves or previous selves before the hot streak. I may just stick with the team total over 3.5, but I like them to get 4 runs in this game. Brian, what do you think here? Orioles and Rays.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know about a side here, but what I do know is that I can see this game going over 7.5. Is a or it's 8 right now in my book. But it's over 8 and it's -105. That cash last night. The pitching matchup isn't that much better to necessarily warrant you to really to basically scare you off that total going over. But ultimately, for whatever reason, this series, and I cashed this last night. Um, I had the Orioles team total over 3.5, and because the total was set at 7.5, I laddered over 2.5, and I had over 3.5 as well. Ramon Urias hit a 2-run home run in the 7th or 8th inning to close the gap. It was 5. It made it 5-4, but that hit, and I was like, okay, well, surely they're not going to do it again today. And then again against a Rays bullpen that's kind of depleted. They're struggling they're winning games, but that bullpen is logging some serious time. I don't see value in going to a side, and I'd rather just look at team totals. So I'm going to go back to the Orioles again, over 3.5, -105. Or -125. I'm sorry, I was looking at something else, but it's over the Baltimore Orioles team total over 3.5 at -125. I'm hammering that, and I would also make a suggestion that Trey Mancini has hit Ryan Yarbrough pretty well. I saw somewhere floating amongst my gambling compatriots and stuff. Mancini was 11 for 27 against Ryan Yarbrough with 4 doubles and 3 home runs. So, a total basis prop there, maybe over 1.5. I mean that looks like a play. He went 3 for 3 last, or 3 for 4. I know he had 3 hits last night. So he's hitting the ball and seeing the ball really well right now, and he now gets to see a guy that he's seen well his whole career. So that's just a suggestion. But ultimately, like I said, I'm just going to take the Baltimore Orioles team total over 3.5 at -125, and I also like the over as well.
All right. We'll move on along here to the next one, and then we'll get to last pitch in CFL. Boston and the Yankees. This is going to be an interesting one, kind of a battle there yesterday, an extra inning game. Now we have Pivetta and Jameson Taillon on the mound. Pivetta coming off 2 rough starts. I was happy to be against him in his last start against the Yankees. I'm pretty sure I had the Yankees team total, but I know that I cashed my bet fading Nick Pivetta. 8 hits, 6 earned runs, and 3.1 innings against the Yankees. The game before that, 8 hits and 7 earned runs against Tampa Bay. Nick Pivetta started the year off pretty bad, kind of like how he's playing right now. And then he had a stretch where he pitched out of his mind. And I think that might have been him pitching out of his mind. And I think he's going to kind of go back. He's going back to the Nick Pivetta that we all know and like to fade. And I think Boston may have hit their hot streak, but I think they're kind of coming back down to earth now as well. But Jameson Taillon, in his last game against this Boston team, 7 hits and 6 earned runs in 5 innings, 6 hits and 5 earned runs against Pittsburgh. Yes, Pittsburgh. And then in a game against Oakland in 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks. He's lucky that Oakland didn't hit him even more than that. So neither of these pitchers are pitching well last night. I took the over 8.5 last night at -110. Pretty simple play here. I could easily see a 4-4 game early on. So maybe even first 5 team total. Our first 5 over as well. But the way these bullpens have been playing, you kind of got to take the full game. But I'm potentially going to add the first 5 as well because I just see runs like crazy in this game. Bryant, Red Sox facing your Yankees. What do you think happens here?
I just want to get on record and in front of the masses and let the world know I was extremely disappointed at loss last night. It was a bad loss. They had back-to-back innings where they had the bases loaded with 1 or 0 outs, and they just couldn't win the game, man. And so that sucks. Ice X, that's cool. I hope the bet fails.
He is obviously Ice X, a huge Boston fan.
I know. But ultimately, for me, I'm not betting any side. Obviously, if I'm going to pick a side here, I'm going to pick my team. But I'm going to watch as a neutral. I'm going to watch as a fan of my team, root for them to win. But as a bettor, the value for me in this game lies in the total. Taillon stinks right now, man. It's weird because like he doesn't walk guys at all, which is kind of an issue because everything he throws is in the strike zone. So it's getting lit up. And so it's like weird because like it's like, oh, I'd rather you maybe walk a guy or two here and not throw a fastball right down the middle and let it get put in the bleachers for 3 runs. But he just doesn't do it. He's always around the strike zone. And if you're going to be around the strike zone, you need to make sure your stuff is missing bats. And he's not doing that. And so it's just a bad spot. And they lit him up last week. The Yankees lit up Pivetta last week. I can't really put any value in saying anything else but to go with a team total over or a full game or some sort of total in this game. Um, I think that both these guys get jumped on. I hope that the guy who gets jumped on more, obviously, is Nick Pavetta. But that's kind of where my money is going with the over eight and a half at -125. I think that this game could very well end 7-6, 8-6, 8-7. I don't know, necessarily who wins, but I definitely think this is a game where the offenses kind of stretch their legs out and get after it, especially considering both teams were like 4 for 20 something last night with runners in scoring position. I just don't see that happening tonight or today. So ultimately, that's kind of where I'm going to put my money at, is just the over. I may sprinkle something on the Yankees team total over 4.5. They would have cashed that last night if they won the game. They didn't. Luckily, I had taken the over 3.5 as a parlay piece. That helped me out, kind of negate the fact that I lost the Yankees money line. But yeah, so it's a total for me in this game today. So
Perfect. Before we get to last pitch, and then obviously I'll quickly go over their CFL games and then best bets, of course. BetStamp. Use code WILD when signing up for BetStamp. Do your line shopping, especially when it comes to CFL. If you do bet the CFL, the lines are crazy different, different books. But even in baseball, 10-cent differences across the board you can usually find from different books. Totals as well. Getting the right total if you'd like an 8 over or an under. So definitely do your line shopping. Use code WILD when signing up. Help out the show. It would be much appreciated. But we will go on to last pitch and kind of go over the games that we didn't discuss here. Reds and St. Louis. That's a pass for me. Lodolo has kind of pitched well as of late, and the Reds have been playing well as of late. Cardinals, the better team. Mikolas on the mound. I kind of want to back the Cardinals, but just ultimately a pass for me. We talked about Mets game 1. Mets game 2, Scherzer against Smiley. I was saying to Tim and Nick that I'm betting the Mets game 2. They better not let me down. No, I'm just kidding. But there shouldn't really be any excuses here with Scherzer on the mound in game 2. I know it's a game 2, but it's Scherzer against Smiley in this one. Mets money line in game 2. I do have that parlayed with the Toronto Blue Jays in game 1 for -104. I like both, obviously, the Blue Jays to win, and then I like the Mets in game 2. Going into that Blue Jays game, Daniel Lynch against Max Castillo here. I said in yesterday's show that the Jays were not going to lose yesterday's game. Tim and Nick got a little bit of a laugh out of that and kind of gave me some heck there when I said that. But hey, they lost the game before that, so it's not ultimately crazy to say that they were going to win that game. And they did. I think they underestimated Kansas City in the first game like I did, but they definitely didn't underestimate them yesterday with Manoah and Greinke. But Greinke, sadly, won't be on the mound today. It'll be a Daniel Lynch, 3-7 in the year with a 4.92 ERA, but has kind of been pitching not too bad lately in his last 3 games. However, they are against Detroit, the Angels, and Oakland. So you got to keep that in mind. I like the Jays, obviously. I have them on the money line. It's kind of hard to bet the Jays game with the price. Something interesting, every single Blue Jays player got a hit yesterday. And I did do a five same game parlay with 4 players to get a hit and the Jays team total over that I did after the show and didn't post a bet stamp. So that was a nice win. I think the Jays will hit Daniel Lynch today, and I think they'll win this game against the Royals. Pittsburgh, Colorado, that's a straight pass for me. It's before the All-Star break. I'm not going to be – it's 2 days before the All-Star break. I'm not betting on these poverty teams. I'm not really going to take any chances there. Atlanta, Washington. Max Fried on the mound. Espino for Washington. The Braves have just owned Washington. Yes, Espino did do somewhat well against Atlanta in his last game. 6 hits, 2 earned runs in 4 innings, but gave up 4 earned runs previously to Philly, 4 earned runs previously to that to Pittsburgh. I think he kind of gets lit up here against Atlanta. I think the Juan Soto the Juan Soto rumors going around could potentially also get affect the kind of mojo of the locker room as well for Washington. And it's Max Fried on the mound. So I like the Braves money line, which is the second team I have parlayed with Seattle, as I said earlier. So Seattle money line, Atlanta money line for plus 139. I really like both of those two teams. Detroit and Cleveland, Tigers and Guardians, Pineda, Quantrill, another straight pass for me. Not getting involved there. Athletics and Astros, Koenig against Verlander. I do have a bet on Alek Manoah to win the Cy Young, so I do want Verlander to get lit up here, but it's Oakland. Obviously, Nick, who's doing his experiment with minus 300 favorites. Verlander is obviously right now. Let me get it up here. Houston is minus 350. So Nick is taking Oakland, and I wish him all the luck with that. But I don't have the balls to take Oakland against Verlander. But I wish Nick luck with that one. And the last 3 games, Brewers, Giants, Lauer against Cobb. Not getting involved in that one. I was going to take Giants yesterday. I didn't. They were obviously losing most of the game, but came back at the end. Diamondbacks and Padres, Gilbert against Manaea. I want to take the Padres here, but Gilbert is 0-3, 5.33 ERA. He's actually pitched pretty well as of late. But it is the Padres against the Diamondbacks. So I do want to take the Diamondbacks in some way, probably later on. I'll look at that game. Obviously, it's a night game. So I may get to something there later. Follow me at Let's Go Wild Picks on BetStamp to see if I add anything there later. And then the final game of the night, Battle of Los Angeles, Dodgers and Angels. Kershaw. What can be said about Kershaw? Absolutely amazing pitching performance yesterday. Yesterday on the show, I gave out that Dodgers money line with over 5.5 strikeouts for Kershaw, minus 105. And I said that I was taking the minus or the 5.5 strikeouts, not the 6.5 strikeouts at plus money, just to be safe. And of course, almost pitching a perfect game, 2 innings short. And he did only get the 6 strikeouts. So I was happy to cash that. And obviously, Dodgers, part of my best bet. That Dodgers Atlanta moneyline parlay has been killing it for me. But Arias, for some reason, 7-6 on the year, gave up 5 earned runs in 2 innings in his last game against the Cubs. Not a pitcher I like to back, even when he does pitch well. Just for some reason, the Dodgers don't seem to hit for him. On this Dodgers team to be 7-6, it just says something. And then Jose Suarez on the mound for the Angels. Not somebody I want to back either. So that game is a pass for me right now, but it would have to be a lean to the Dodgers. But with Urias on the mound, I can't get to it. So I won't be on that Dodgers-Atlanta parlay today. But I do like Atlanta with Seattle. And that's everything for me in baseball today. Bryant, last pitch. What do you think? You're muted.
I'm gonna try to zoom through some of this stuff. Simplest playing. I like the Cardinals money line today. There's no Nolan Arenado for the Cardinals. He's also not playing in the All-Star game as well. He's hurt. So he's not like something bad, but they just said they're going to keep him out. So he's no longer playing, but I still like Mikolas to do enough pitching wise. Lodolo has not been all that great against the Mets and the Rays. So I like the Cardinals to get it done. They still have Goldschmidt, and they still got those guys at the top of the lineup. Pujols slots in that fourth spot right behind Goldschmidt. Um, I like the Mets in game two as well, which is also part of my best bet. So I won't spoil that too much. Just know that it's the Mets in that for me. Um, I have in that game two as well. I have the Cubs F5 team total under 1.5. We got Scherzer pitching, and he's rearing to get into midseason form. He didn't have that like everyone else. So I'm backing that. Uh my degenerate play of the day is to hop in on the Pirates Rockies game. I like to do it once every now and again. Um, I need everyone to know. Last night I hopped in on it with Marquez and Quintana, and I cashed the Rockies money line F5 money line last night, and it helped me with some serious units. So again, this is a single bet, but I'm going back to the Rockies F5 money line tonight as well. Mitch Keller has struggled in his relief appearances and cores. I think the Rockies are a little warm right now. They swept the Padres or dispatched the Padres earlier this season or this week, and they started off the series right last night. So I'm gonna hop on it. Like I said, it's a single bet, throwing like maybe $25 on it. It's nothing too crazy. But that's where I'm at there. The Braves, I like the Braves to steamroll the Nats. I think that they're the better team. Freed needs to get his face back after a so-so performance against the Mets. He gets a much more formidable matchup against a team that he also knows very well. So I like the Braves on the F5 run line, -1.5. I think they jump on Espino early and get him out the game, and you're getting plus money at +110. So that's my play there. I also have them in another play, which is part of my best bet. So I won't say too much about it. Do I think the Astros win today? Yes. Do I want to bet it? No. They lost his -210 faves yesterday. Altuve is again not playing. He's out basically until after the All-Star break. He's not going to participate in anything. I think they're just taking it easy on him. So I'm not touching that either. This Dodgers game, I like it. I have a parlay with the Dodgers, Guardians, Cardinals, and the Mets game two. All to win, and that is a plus 446 parlay. I'm hammering that, but my value play in the Dodgers game is the Dodgers F5 run line -0.5 at -125, and I think that's pretty good value. And there's a couple reasons why I like it so much. One, namely, Urias is much better on the road than he is at home, ironically enough. He is he has a 2.66 ERA on the road compared to a 3.40 ERA at home. Don't know what it is. He thrives a little bit better pitching on the road than he does at home. Kind of like Logan Gilbert, although his splits aren't as drastic as Urias's is. But with that, and then you toss into the fact that Mike Trout is not playing tonight. He's out with back spasms. They're not going to push him through to play a meaningless game when they're 20 games back. So he's not playing. And then you have Jose Suarez, the pitcher for the Angels. This is the big stat, and this is why I said that the F5 is the play here. And I hope everyone kind of takes a listen to this. The opponent batting average for guys that are going up against Suarez jumps from 215 the first time through the lineup to over 300 the second time. That second time is around the third or fourth inning, generally speaking. That's assuming he gets through the lineup one time in decent fashion without maybe getting blown up. But that second time, which usually comes around the third or fourth inning, fifth inning, it jumps up dramatically. So once guys look at him once, they go in that dugout and they're like, all right, we can hit this dude. And they come out and they hit that guy. So the F5 looks like the play here. It's like the best value that you can really get in this game without chalking up, minus 200 on the money line or minus 190, whatever the case may be. So that's where I'm going to spend my Bitcoins in this specific matchup is on that F5 run line minus a half. And I like the Padres to win. Depending on how the day goes, I might hop on it later. Not that's one of those. Oh, okay, I'm doing good, so I'll throw some money its way. Or I'm doing bad, I'm not gonna try to chase any coins. It's a field game, and so depending on how the rest of the day goes, determines if I'm gonna make a play on that. Like I said, I think the Padres win. Manaea is a little bit more serviceable as a pitcher, and I think the vibes are good from last night after they got the win. And I'm staying away from that Giants Brewers game. After Corbin Burns pitched, I have no inclination to get involved in that series. Two weird teams that play well and then they don't play well. And I leaned to the Brewers last night with Brandon Woodruff on the mound, and I would have had them on the money line. That was my play. And to see what happened to Josh Hader in the ninth inning, I would have been furious. Would have been furious. So that validated me staying away from that series the entire rest of this weekend, and I will continue to do that. So I have nothing in that game. So that's it for me.
All right, I really like your breakdown in the Dodgers game, and you kind of talked me onto something here. So what I'm going to do is, if the Angels happen to score early, if the Angels go up 1 or 2 runs early, I'm definitely going to take Dodgers live. Because then when they do face Suarez the second time,
they're going to start hitting them.
Yeah. So if you can get Dodgers at plus money at any time early on,
and you should be able to. You should be able to. Yeah, you should be able to. If they go down early, you should be able to, because the game is only starting out at minus. Like I said, books are still got at minus 190. So it won't take much to shift it to plus money if they go down like 2 runs.
Yeah, so that's exactly how I'm going to tackle that Dodgers game, is kind of just watch and see how things are going and then hit it live. So, again, follow me. Let's Go Wild picks on BetStamp. We'll go on to CFL. It'll just be me here breaking down the CFL. The first game here is Saskatchewan-Toronto. I really want to take Saskatchewan. I really want to take them. The West is far better than the East, but Saskatchewan on the road kind of scares me. I'm kind of iffy on this game, so I haven't really pulled the trigger on anything yet. But in the second game, Ottawa and Hamilton. Hamilton is minus 323 favorites, minus 7.5 on the spread. I'm sorry. I know Ottawa does have on their third string quarterback right now. Both teams 0-4. Hamilton should not be minus 7.5 against anybody. I'm on Ottawa plus 9, and I do want to take Ottawa money line as well for a smaller play at plus 340. Kind of doing my Nick Earl impression and jumping on a nice big huge plus price, but and to say it, Nick is on Hamilton on the spread, so me and Nick would be against each other in that spot in this one. But I don't know. Hamilton. They've been really a disappointment this year. This Ottawa team as well. In their first 2 games of the season, they faced the best team in the CFL, Winnipeg. They lost by 2 in the first game and by 7 in the second game. And that's to the best team in the league. In their third game, they obviously they lost to BC, another really good offensive team. They lost by 3 points. So Ottawa has been competitive. This Hamilton team blows leads late. So this could be a good live betting spot if Hamilton is up. I'm pretty sure they're going to be like plus. You could probably get Ottawa like plus 21.5 or something crazy like that, depending on how this game goes, if Hamilton is up in the first half. But they blow leads in the second half. They should not be minus 7.5 against anybody. So I'm on Ottawa plus 9, and I may take a stab at the Ottawa money line. But I would not advise taking Ottawa in the first 5, just because Hamilton is a good first half team, or not first 5, first half, because Hamilton is a good first half team. but then they blow leads late for some reason. They lost to Edmonton at home. So I can't back them here, especially at -7.5 and -323 favorite. No thanks. And the Tiger Cats are my hometown team. So keep that in mind for what it is. But we will go on to the best bet segment now, and we'll start with Dog of the Day, as we always do. And I will bring it up in just a second. And actually, we'll take a quick look at the current standings as well, because we haven't done that for a while. So we'll actually do that first. Best bets, Bryant, you're still in first, 5.75 units up. I'm actually going to toot my own horn here a little bit. I was -5 units a few weeks ago. My goal was to get to even for the All-Star break. Baseball, it is what it is, up and down, up and down. But my goal to get to even for the All-Star break, I'm up 1.68 units. So hoping over these next 2 days to kind of possibly be heading towards trying to catch Bryant here is obviously my goal. But we'll definitely see what happens. Parlay piece, we're all killing it, obviously, but that's Parlay Pieces. Dog of the Day, Bryant, you're in the green, as well as Sam. But Bryant, 41 dogs, and you've hit 21 of them. So that's really impressive because these are all plus money dogs. And as you can see, the rest of us, it's tough. It's tough to hit these plus money dogs. But Bryant, you're 21 and 20 there. And then over under, kind of iffy there, but it is what it is. We'll get there before the end of the season with the totals. So brief look at the standings there, and we'll go with Dog of the Day as we always do. And for me, I'm taking the big, huge plus 340 Ottawa Red Blacks as my Dog of the Day. Nick is going with the Chicago White Sox. Tim is taking a UFC play, taking Mark Schell. Dave did not send in a dog today, but he did send in his other picks. Bryant, is there a dog on today's slate that you like? You're muted.
Yes. I'm going back to the Orioles. Well, I don't like the matchup for Ryan Yarbrough. He's not looked all that great. Dean Kramer is pitched, I think, to like. Hold on one second. I just saw it. He's posted a 1.62 ERA, and guys are slugging 306 against him in his last 6 starts. I just don't. I don't like the matchup right for Yarbrough. And I think the Orioles still stay in some sort of nice form, and they get the win today.
All right. Going over under. This one was tough because I have a bunch of totals today, surprisingly. So I had to pick through, and I agree with what Brian was saying there about Baltimore. And I took their team total over 3.5 as my over under. Nick is going with Saskatchewan Toronto under 46.5. He likes a lower scoring game in that Saskatchewan game. Tim is going with White Sox Minnesota over 8.5 full game. Another one that I was deciding over. And then Dave is taking Milwaukee San Francisco over 7.5. Bryant, is there a total that you like today?
Yeah, my total is going to be the one that I talked about in that Phillies game. I am going to go with the Phillies team total over 3.5.
All right. And then we will go on to best bets, best parlay pieces. For me, best parlay piece. Nick stole mine. He did put his in first, and I kind of want us to be different. So obviously, I do like the Braves. So I took Atlanta Braves money line as my parlay piece. Nick took Seattle Mariners money line. Tim is taking the Mets in game 1, and Dave is taking a yes run first inning
Good play. Good play,
for
right?
Chicago White Sox and Minnesota as his parlay piece. He likes a run in the first inning there, which starts in about 10, 15 minutes. So, Bryant, is there what's your parlay piece?
Yeah, my parlay piece is going to be the St. Louis Cardinals to win. Money line play.
All right. And then best bet. For me, still going with the 2-team parlay. It's been working for me. Not Atlanta and the Dodgers today. I'm going to go with Seattle and Atlanta for plus 139 as my best bet. Nick is taking Oakland Athletics first 5 money line at plus 280. Tim is taking Mets game 1 parlayed with Seattle for plus 200. And Dave is taking Seattle team total over 4 minus 110. Mick says, "Sup guys, good luck today unless you're against me." and he's on Nick Lodolo. So that's that. And then Eddie Sanchez, Brian was talking, and obviously I didn't want to interrupt him during your comment earlier. But yeah, with the All-Star game around the corner, I think tomorrow, make sure before you make any bets tomorrow, you check the lineups.
Lots of unders tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's huge. So I'll RotoWire. I don't use RotoWire for hockey whatsoever, and I gave Nick shit during the hockey season because they're terrible with goalies and lineups. But for baseball, they are pretty good. So that's what I use is RotoWire for baseball lineups. But definitely check your lineups tomorrow. That's a huge point. But Bryant, best bet. What are you thinking here?
Yes, indeed. I'm not sure people could have not pieced it together by now, but my best bet is a 3-teamer, and it's the game 2 Mets run line. That's with Scherzer on the mound. And then I've got the Braves money line and Seattle's money line for plus 310.
Atlanta and Seattle?
Yes. Okay. Oh, no. It's just the Mets is the run line. Everyone else is money line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Typed in here. Game 2 minus 1.5. All right. So Mets game 2 minus 1.5, and Atlanta and Seattle both on the money line for plus 310.
Yep.
Right. Right. Perfect. That is the show. Best of luck to everybody. Tim says Sunday is dog and unders. Yeah. Lineups I think is going to be huge tomorrow. So I mean, definitely we could see some unders with probably some big bats out of lineups too.
A lot of these teams with like the position players playing that are starters, you could very well see them sitting tomorrow. So
what's up, Sam? But yeah, that's a show. Best luck to everybody tonight. If you like the content, smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube. We'd love to have you in the group chat or in the comments. Best luck to everyone's bets today. We will have a show tomorrow, 12 p.m. I think I put the time there. So 12 p.m. tomorrow to discuss the final day of baseball before the All-Star break. And then there'll be no show, obviously, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we should be back Thursday. So best of luck on everybody on your bets today. And we will see you again tomorrow for another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. Have a good one, guys.